Good evening, Shepherd. Okay. So today's topic is very interesting one. Hopefully we can get through a lot today. Today we're going to be talking about candles. Celestians, one of the things we're known for besides our sutanas, which we'll be covering in another episode, is the use of candles. So first, let's start with how did candles even come about? I know that other Orthodox churches obviously use candles, like Catholic churches, and I believe it's Ethiopian Orthodox Church. They use candles as well. But when did candles become a thing in Celestial Church of Christ?
Oh, in Celestial, actually it came with the church, and it's one of the divine injunction that the first prophet of the church told us when he talked about the seven candlestands, the Pajaspa, and those things, when they were giving all those divine injunctions. So they came with it. But what is the specific thing about candle in Celestial Church of Christ? We only use white candles.
Okay.
No other candles are allowed. It has to be white.
What about off-white? Like
no,
cream.
White is white.
White is white. Okay.
Yes.
Sutana white.
Yes, yeah. Everything. That's how we were given by God. Okay. Yes.
And then the first prophet, his name was Emmanuel
Guton, G-U-T-O-N. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that because a lot of the times, Celestians think that everything came through Papa Oshofa, but I think it's important to recognize other key characters that were part of the foundation of the church as well.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And when I was doing my research, there was a hymn that came with the injunction to use candles, but are you familiar with that hymn?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know. I tried looking for it, but I could not get it. It's not in the hymn book.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the hymn book
so
either.
I'm not used to it. There's so many songs that we lost with time. Yeah, because, just like the early apostles, they were fishermen. So most of the early church workers in Celestial too, they were fishermen that got called. And as a result, they could not take records or accountability of much about the church.
And I have the lyrics here. I don't want to butcher it. Yoruba is like my third language, so we can just skip it then. Okay. I really don't want to mess it up.
All right.
But I know a hymn that is in the hymn book that we specifically sing during the lighting of the candles is Yara Sarah.
Oh, yes.
And then was that hymn also descended through Mamuyo?
Yes, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tongue. Yara Sarah is tongue, angelic tongue, which means kindle the light.
Kindle the light.
Yes, yeah.
And, okay. Let me see. So that's hymn number 2. So we know hymn number 1 is Jerry Moyama, the processional hymn.
Yeah.
And then hymn number 2, Yara Sarah, Kindle the Light. When I was doing my research, it also said that incense will be burning while this is happening.
Yeah.
So can you just walk us through kind of how the lighting of the candles, how many candles?
Okay.
For a Sunday service, let's say.
Okay, all right. The censer, the sidesman or whoever that is going to the altar.
Anybody, right?
The ushers, it will be the one in the front.
Okay.
Followed by the choristers.
Yes.
And then the service conductor, and then there's a procession inside the church. Now, as we are going in, we sung it's Jerry Moyama.
Yes.
Yeah, the host of angels. They are letting us to see that we are entering into God's presence. So Jerry Moyama is the name of God that God gave Celestial, just as Yahweh in Jew, Jehovah in Greek.
Right.
So it's as that you need to be full of joy. It's what a great thing to be in God's presence. Just as the psalmist said, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go come into the house of the Lord. So the second process is the kindle of the candles, which is in the candelabra or the candle holder. And we even though we have the seven candlesticks are there representing the Spirit of God. These are symbols.
Okay.
We're talking about symbols and spirituality. Now, is to tell you that now that you have entered into God's presence, you need to resist from any form of distraction. Because now, as that candle is being lit, which represents the light, which is Jesus Christ himself. He said, I'm the light of the world.
Correct.
You see, you need to connect your heart. Divine is an holy light. So it's a time for you to focus and be prepared. Free your mind so that there can be interaction, connectivity with the Spirit of God. So that is, and then you light the top one, you move to the second row. That was how it was given. It's not you light the top one, you go to the bottom. No, it's not. Because you see, it is this church came from heaven.
Correct.
So it has to go gradually. That's a celestial church from heaven. That is the first candle there. Then you go step by step till you get to the plane, which is the far plane.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like if you look at it, it's like you see a triangle, but it's a spiritual pyramid. That is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a triangle within triangles.
And there's 7 on the
seven.
main one.
Yes.
So if it's I know if it's like a weekday service, like a Wednesday service, it'll be 3.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time we do a service where it's just 1, or is it either 3 or 7?
No, for the morning service at 5:30, it's 1 candle.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is that a morning weekday service?
No, every day, it's just because we're in this part of the world.
I'm sorry. I've never been to church at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah, but according to the injunction God gave us, we have a service before everybody goes to work. But the way we are oriented there is a different ball game.
Okay.
So normally there's a service at 5:30, and that service you use 1 candle.
Okay.
Yeah. And we use 2 candles too.
Oh, we do?
Oh, yes. That is when you're having service of song or for funeral. Yes.
So how does that work? If it's just 2 candles, where does the second candle go?
Okay. The middle one will be missing.
So you just do the next 2?
The bottom 2.
The bottom 2.
Yeah, the bottom 2. Without the central one will be missing.
Oh.
Yes.
Never paid attention to that.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
But usually here, service of song is not in the church. Or at least I've only been to a few that have been at church. They're usually at a hall.
Oh, yeah.
So
whatever it is done, be it in the church, we don't carry cups to the church. Be in the church or anywhere outside, the 2 candles are there. Okay. So, and as far as Celestial Church of Christ is concerned, when Christ was about to ascend into his throne, there were 2 angels, that were on the left hand and the right hand to ascend to him. Okay. But in some Orthodox churches, or Protestant churches like the Lutheran, like the Methodist Church, like the Anglican Church, if you look at their altar, there are 2 candles there.
Only 2.
Oh, yeah. It's different from the Catholic Church, which uses 7.
Yes.
Now, on their own altar, what those 2 candles represent is the humanity and the deity of Christ. That is how they translate it to be. Okay. That, and the word became flesh and dwelt among us. So, which is Christ in human form and God, and Christ as God, Son of God. Okay. So that is the interpretation they gave it to. Yes.
I want to kind of circle back. You mentioned that the light, the candles represent the Spirit of God. And just in Genesis chapter 1, verses 3-5, we know that the first thing, God created was light. Yeah. The Spirit of the Lord was roaming over darkness, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So I just wanted to kind of pick your brain. Is the reason why we not saying that the church is dark when we enter, right? But kindling that light, is that also symbolic of the Spirit of the Lord, bringing light into darkness?
From the beginning, one of the first things that, just as you referred in, it said, "Let there be light."
Yes.
You see, God is the God of light. Our celestial hymn 205 says, "God the King of heavenly light, everlasting King, owner of eternal glory,
before
whose presence is the
little
Yoruba
the
coming to my mind."
all
So
around
God
us.
himself is a God of light. And he has always demonstrated why light, that light from the beginning, from the creation of the world. Because when there was light, all the obscurity vanished.
Yes.
So, and when we light the candle in Celestial Church of Christ, you see, as they are lighting it, it's your heart. They are telling you that you should be free. Because right now, it's the time for you to connect. But if you are still not focused, your mind is still, because you see, you need it's like it's like a protocol of ascending into the ritual realm. The first thing, you enter into his presence with joy. The next thing is your candle is lit.
Okay.
Yeah, this is symbolism, which that, you know what, your mind now have to connect with God. That is the second step. Now, the third step, you are invited. Now that your candle is lit, which means that you have connected with the Spirit of God. Now, that's just okay. Let's go into God's presence. Wakalo, sodo luwa. Without the connectivity, without the kindle of your heart, you cannot come unto God.
Yeah.
So that is why the light is very, very important. So all those things is to get us prepared. It's like the traffic light. You see, you get to the traffic light, you see the red light. That is telling you you need to stop. Now, after some times, it turns green. Once you see green, you know you need to go. So the same thing, that is the process of we preparing ourselves. It has to compose of body, soul, and spirit. So if your heart is not kindled, you are just in the church as a carnal mind, a man just of body and soul, nothing there.
Like Christ says in Matthew 6:23.
Yes, yeah.
But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. Therefore, the light that is in you is darkness. How great is that darkness?
Yes, that is it. Yeah.
And I know you mentioned there's a time we use 2 candles. Do we ever use 4 candles, or 4, 5, or 6? I think I've seen 4 before once, but I don't think I've ever seen 5 or 6.
No, we use 4.
4, okay.
And that is when we want to do some intercessory prayers.
Right.
Works out that is when we use 4. But it's not part of
the service.
Of the service,
okay.
It's not. Yes, it's not.
Okay. And this question is from a subscriber, not from me. What is the importance of ajoku imole?
Oh, the half-burnt candle.
Okay, because I was like, what is that?
All right, it's the half-burnt candle.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, what does it symbolize? You see, you definitely know that the candle was lit before.
Yes.
But now it's been put off. Now it has burnt, whether a little bit, whatever, it has become a burnt candle. So why it's like somebody that he or his light has been put off, the candle needs to be rekindled again.
Okay.
That is what it means. So that candle, even though, yeah, no matter your situation, no matter whatever you are going through, that candle, through the power of God, He will rekindle it, and you will continue to burn. You know, there's a candle that we have in the altar. God mandates that it has to be there 24/7.
Yes.
It's in Exodus, I think chapter 27 or so. Yeah. So our candle must never be put off. You know, that is why you remember what led to the virgins that were wise,
Yes.
and the virgins that were foolish. You see, they after some time they ran out of oil. Because when before, when there was no electricity, yeah, there's always been the candle stands there.
Yes.
You know, God gave the Jews the menorah. So now, that time, it was oil that they were using as lampstand. So, and when the electricity came, you know, even though we have light, we have everything, the ritualistic about being the lighting of the candles has never be taken out, even though we have electricity and things like that, because it is more ritualistic using the candles than now using electric lights. Let's put it that way. Yes,
symbolic,
but it is not. It has nothing to do with the power of God or whatever. As many people think, oh, celestial, our power is in the candles.
Yes.
No, that is a wrong perspective of it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of my friends always tells me, oh, you know, people, they fear Sele, or they say, if you do anything bad to a Sele person, they say, oh, I'll light candle for you. I'll light candle for you. And I was explaining to them, like, that's just like Jara. Like, that's just, you know, that means nothing. If I light a candle for you, what's the difference between lighting a birthday candle and lighting a candle at church? Like, yeah. There's nothing in the actual candle.
No,
like,
there's
it's
not.
just representative
Of light.
And God is not mocked, right? God is only going to, like, avenge you if you've been wronged, not just because you don't like the way somebody did something. You know, you can't just threaten them with lighting a candle. Like,
yeah,
you can't be threatening people. You know, the Bible says if somebody slaps you, let them slap you again, turn the other cheek. So you can't be threatening people with candles, guys. Let's be in one accord.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, some people might have said that, but it's out of sheer ignorance. We are to keep the home fires burning. We are supposed. What is the word of God is fire. You see, so. And also, there was a place, and they said even God Himself is a consuming fire.
Yes.
So there's always been the light leading people, even from there. But sometimes some people, you know, what breaking news is bad news. Maybe they saw somebody, a celestial, that said, "I will use candle to finish you."
Yes.
No. He Himself that says that doesn't know what He's saying.
Yeah. They're just carrying just.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. And then I also, while we're on that topic of people using candles to, like, threaten, I know a lot of churches that are not familiar with Celestial Church of Christ think that our candle use is, like, parallel to fetish candle use. So, like, we've already said that Celestians only use white candles. We don't use brown candles. We don't use red, green, blue, purple, rainbow colored, different swirl design. We don't do that. Just plain white candles. But people still believe that, oh, if you go to Sele Church and they're lighting candle, then there's like some sort of devilish connotation to it. So how do we educate others that it's not like that? Like,
okay, it's it's the perception of the people. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've never seen candles is used by all. Okay, you know, if you look when people are making a procession all over the city, be it Protestant, be it Pentecostal, people like candles and look, it's even common here in the States. Yeah. Maybe somebody get hit by a car or get shot. Everybody come up with, they call those type of candle votive candles because they are in a glass. You see everybody coming up with candles and, putting it on that spot
Mm-hmm.
just to, as a sign of respect, as a sign of just expressing one condolences,
Correct.
things like that, praying for the soul departed.
Mm-hmm.
So one way or the other, we are all using candles. Be it in Africa that we don't have light, we have light issues. You can buy a candle, whether you light it in your house. Be it over here, but it's used in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's what people attach to it. Even the first church, which is the Roman Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
till today they use candles.
Yeah.
And it is a continuity of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But people think, oh, it is this, it is that, Every church, one of the first sacraments is baptism. And when they go to do baptism, the people that are to be baptized, they hold candles in their hands.
I haven't really seen them do that anymore.
Oh, it's still in existence.
Okay.
Catholic Church, Lutheran, Methodist, Celestial, Ladura, they take it to, that is part of it, that now you are a soldier of Christ.
Mm.
And you are symbolic of the light. That is what it means. And that candle in your hand is to spread the light, spread the gospel. Because just with one candle, it can light millions of people.
Right.
So that is the symbolism there.
Mm-hmm.
So these are rituals, which we call holy rites, that we perform as Christians, which every most denominations, even Pentecostal, they do this themselves. So it's just, this is the time, and that is the purpose of what we are doing. People need to be educated. And once they have the education, they say faith cometh by hearing the word of God. When they start to get what we mean, the spirituality of things, now they now understand why we use it.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's a very good point, like the knowledge behind it.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to the Kindling podcast, and they had an episode about symbols of spirituality. And one of the main points they kept driving home was that if you don't understand the symbol, it won't carry the same meaning to you.
Yeah.
Like if I send you a text message and I send you a upside down smiley face emoji, and you don't know what that means, you're gonna be like, why is she sending me this?
Yeah.
But if I send it to Chioma, she's gonna know what that means, and so it'll make sense to her. So like same thing like with the candles, like for us as Christians, as Celestians, we know that the candle represents light. We have so many hymns about Imole, about light, about God is light, all these things. So we know that's what this represents, whether it's in the altar, whether it's for prayer, whether it's for sanctification, whether it's for baptism. We understand that this represents the light of God, kindling the light of God in my life. But if you don't know that, then you think like, oh, they're using it to tie me to the altar, or they're gonna ruin my destiny unless they light that candle, type thing. So having that knowledge and that meaning, that understanding behind knowing what the symbol is for is so important. And I think like people should really open their understanding to know that a lot of these things, most of these things, if not all of these things, are directly related to God.
Exactly.
Like for example, we're talking about the candle stand. If you jump to Revelations 4, chapter 4, verse 5, it says, "From the throne came flashing of lightning, rumblings, and peals of thunder. In front of the throne, 7 lamps were blazing. These are the 7 spirits of God."
Yeah.
Zechariah chapter 4, verse 2 to 6. And he asked me, so Zechariah is with, one of the angels, and it asked him, "What do you see?" He said, "I see a solid gold lampstand with a bowl at the top and 7 lamps on it, and with the 7 channels to the lamps. Also, there are 2 olive trees by it, one on the right of the bowl, the other on the left. And I asked the angel who talked to me, 'What are these?' And he answered, 'Do you not know what these are?' I said, 'No, my lord.' And he said to me, 'The word of the Lord to Zerubbabel, not by my power or by my might, but by my spirit, says the Lord.'" So we know that the 7 lights of God represent the 7 spirits of God. So it's not in this situation, it was letting Zechariah know that what needed to be done would be done by the Spirit of God, not by his might, not by his power, but by his Spirit, because that's what the light of God, the 7 lampstands, the 7 candles, that's what they represent.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So everything is in the Bible, guys.
But it's also
open up your Bibles.
If we check Revelation chapter 2 from verse 1, I think 1 and 2.
Let me see.
Revelation 2, 1. Just to chip in about the so-called candles. That is, you see, it's this church, it's a replica of the kingdom of heaven.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're not spiritual, or even if you care more, you will discover all these things that we're doing is all biblical.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me to read from verse 1 and 2?
Verse 1, to the angel of the church of Ephesus, write, these things says he who holds the 7 stars in his right hand.
In his right hand.
Who walks in the midst of the 7 golden lampstands.
Can you see? That is Christ there. Is telling them. So also in Revelation chapter 5, chapter 5, because we're talking, there are 7 spirits of God. What are they? Verse 12.
Verse 12. 5:12 says, saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom.
Now, let's take it one at a time. Worthy to receive. Those are the we want to make clarity now on the 7 power, the 7 spirit of God. Worthy to receive. Number 1 is power, yes?
And riches.
Riches, yes?
And wisdom.
Wisdom.
And strength.
Strength.
And honor.
Honor.
And glory. And blessing.
Blessing.
Boom.
That is it. That is what the 7 spirits of God is. So if you are not connecting with the Spirit of God, you cannot have this thing. Yeah. And it means you want to separate yourself from God. He has the riches. Those things that you're looking at, he has got it in his hand. Yes. So when it's like somebody like coming into Santom Parish now, and he does not have our password for Wi-Fi. Yeah. He cannot link up.
Connect.
The same thing when you get into the sanctuary of God. Your job is to connect to the Spirit of God, which is there in the altar, and then God that gives freely, he will connect you. Yeah. That's how you can have connectivity.
I think also if you look at just like from the name of the church, Celestial Church of Christ, descended from heaven above.
Oh, yes.
Like, keep that in your mind. It's not just a song, right? Everything that we're doing symbolizes how it's done in heaven.
Oh, yes.
The way the altar is set up, the way the candles are set up, the way we proceed into the church, the way we, light the candles, the reason that we use candles, just like we just covered, the 7 spirits of God. Yes. Everything that we're doing is not because somebody sat down somewhere and was like, this would be a good idea. No, it's divine inspiration from God. Yeah. I think people have this idea that Celestians just maybe sat down one day and were like, hey, let's do this.
No, like, these are divine injunctions from God.
Exactly.
And that is it's part of our spiritual cultural heritage that God gave us. So, and we have to comply with God's instruction. So it's like somebody coming from Africa, when they get here, there are laws here that differ from us. So if you want to live in America, you need to comply with the American law. Yeah. So if you come to Celestia, you need to comply with the way where we worship and the way we do things. And if you might not understand, but you are free to ask the shepherd in charge. And then all these things will be explained to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think also picking back off of like compliance and following the laws, what would be some like abuses of candle like usage in the church?
Well, we cannot.
That's a deep question.
Oh, yeah, that is deep. In everything, we have excesses. We must not take that out, and that is due to so many things. Because we pray over candles, But sometimes people take advantage. You see, for whatever reasons, people take advantage.
Yeah.
And there are places that it's not compulsory that we have to hold candles every time. You see, but people take advantage because they say, oh, you need to have 49 candles, 10 candles, and all those things. No, as the Spirit of God dictates, that is what really, really important. Even the pastor founder, in his lifetime, he said, even if you do not have, you can't even buy a stick of candle. That's fine. You can pray on your own, or when you are asked to have 3 candles and you only have money for 1 candle, just divide the candles into 3 parts, use it to pray. God has answered your prayers. So it is not something that we cannot do without.
I think, Shepherd, people will disagree with you on that one. Because I know, like, there's a thing about broken candles. You don't use broken candles.
No, these are not broken candles.
But you broke it.
No, you cut it because you know what prayer is raising up your heart and mind to God.
Right.
And it's it depends on the person that wants to pray to God. Maybe I'm in a financial hardship. I don't even have money to buy candles. And then that doesn't mean I cannot pray. These are the things that we want to shed light on. That people should not turn. They should not. We're talking about abuses now.
Yeah.
You know, due to financial constraint, I can't even afford a stick of candle. I will kneel down before God and I will pray. And the candle, God will light that candle. Because that is the authority of believer. It's not that it has to be something that it is a do or die, or if you do not have that candle, your prayers will not be answered. These are the things that we need people to have education on.
Okay.
So if you can afford it, fine. If you cannot afford it, Christ is the main thing. He said, I am the light of the world. So as long as you are in Christ, you have everything.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's different. You cut it, the candle. You didn't break it.
No, you cut it. You see, the reason of the breaking is that, anything that has to do with God, you have to do your best.
Yeah, without blemish.
Yeah, without blemish. Just like the offering Cain and Abel do. This is how you need to look at these things. Even when you ask to buy fruits for Mercy Day service, you understand what I mean? You look for very good fruits that even if you put it on the floor, wherever you put it, when people see the fruit, it looks so attractive. Even without even touching the fruit, they are already, it's as if it's attracting them. You know what I mean? So, but there are people in the church. We are blessed over here. That is why, you see, if you do church in Nigeria and you bring fruits on Wednesday, okay, you will take one of the fruits, you leave the rest. Okay, why that? It's not because people people think, like somebody was here, he came from Nigeria here, and he left and said, no, we don't need to leave fruits here. Here there is abundance. Please take your fruits with you. But in Nigeria, we do that because there are so many people that do not have fruits, and they come for their service. So those fruits that are left behind, the shepherd will share it to the needy, and then the rest, either they leave it with altar or they use it to pray for people. But it doesn't mean that the fruits that, okay, let's shift it now from Nigeria here. When you come over here now, the fruit we put down here, it's your fruit.
Right.
You don't need to take one fruit because why? We have abundance here.
Right.
But some people thought that is the doctrine of the church. It's not the doctrine. It's just the situation. So that, they said they brought everything at the apostles' feet and nobody lacked anything.
Yeah.
So that is the way, that is what led to that. Okay. It's not a divine injunction that you have to leave fruit or you don't leave fruit. Yeah, just to shed some light on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay if you're in a situation and you need 3 candles, you only have one, you can make it work.
Oh, yes.
But if your candle is broken, you should replace it.
If your candle is broken, because you say it's like bringing something that is not what
deformed. Okay.
Deformed before God.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just the area, the angle I want us to look at it. Because it's broken, it's going to mess up the altar. We don't want the church to get burnt.
Right.
And things like that. So safety is also important. So candles like that, in Africa, we just use it, when NEPA takes light, we just use it to light. Yeah, that is what they do with it. Okay. They take your candle, they don't want to embarrass nobody. But you know what? They are not going to do the needful. Right. That is what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one last thing, at least for me, I have a question about.
Okay.
Once upon a time, I was on Clubhouse, and Clubhouse is another social media platform where, this is not sponsored, by the way, but it's a social media platform where people talk, like they have discussions. Okay. And there's like several celestial groups like with different youth in there, and they were talking about candles, and they were talking about the Pajasper. And someone said that the reason why you're supposed to light a candle, because I saw in the Constitution that when it was descended that there's supposed to be a candle lit on the Pajasper. The Pajasper is the collection pouch for collection, for those who don't know. So someone said that the candle on the Pajasper is there so that God will see the money that you're putting inside the offering plate, because God is not mocked and you can't deceive him. So if you're only putting pennies, he knows. And that's why they put the light there, to shed light on anybody who's not putting what they're supposed to put. So I personally felt like that's not why, but I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that was I think the Pajasper too came through the revelation through Prophet Emmanuel, Goton as well. All right. Yes, it was designed like that. That was how he got the revelation. Okay. But you see,
for the candle,
it is, even in the early celestial church, they light the candle. But you see, as we move on, you see, that is why people should not turn things to deity. You see, that is that we cannot turn all these things to God. Those are the abuses we're talking about. Like in this part of the world, safety is number one. Yeah. You see, that's an open flame right there. Yeah. Which could land the shepherd of the church
is flammable.
in prison ministry. Now, even in Nigeria, what people do, because somebody could get burnt, anything could happen. Yes, they gave it to us. Yeah. But you see, they're speaking. You see, that is what Christ was saying. Christ spoke in parables. Yes. So for us to understand, from the earthly thing, it uses the earthly things to explain heavenly things. Yeah. What is important is this, is that as we light those candles, the lights there, you are putting your money. It's like God will continue to bless the works of your hands. Now, but as time goes on, nobody lights the candle again. So what do we do? In that same pouch, we still put candles there. Okay. But it's not more lighted. Some churches still do it. But as far as here in diaspora, if you're doing it, you got to put the church in problems. Because if there's anything that happens, somebody get burned, somebody get out, the church could be closed down. So that is what it means.
So not because the Lord is watching.
No.
Remember, the Lord is watching you.
What of the tithe box? Is the same concept. The tithe box too, there's a candle there. Yes. It's the same concept. But can you say that the one of the tithe box still holds to today? Yes. Because there's safety that surrounds that.
It doesn't move.
Thank you. It's not somebody that is carrying the money around the candle could fall down, somebody get burnt and things like that. We don't want to lose anybody's life or somebody getting burnt or the building getting burned because of an injunction. No. So that is the reason we are not doing it. But what really matters, what the light is telling you is that, you know what? Jesus Christ, the light of the world, the El Morija, he will bless the works of your hands as you have sowed the seed. That is what it means. Whether you light the candle or you put it in the pouch, it's the same thing.
That would be the seventh light, the blessing.
Yes, exactly.
We are making connections now.
Thank you.
Okay. I think that's something important to touch on too. Like, you don't have to do things for safety reasons, obviously. Exactly. But understand the principle of why it was descended that way. And then I have a question about the tithe box. I noticed at some churches, some parishes I used to go to, when the tithe box is moved into the altar, the candle on the tithe box is quenched, because then it would be 8 candles lit in the altar instead of 7. Is that a doctrinal thing, or is that like a parish by parish thing?
Okay. Is it okay? Normally, the tithe box is carried into the altar.
Yes.
Now, as the tithe box it's in the altar, you know, we're going to sing
Yes.
after the prayers, after the tithe, all other collections have been blessed. That is when you put off the candlelight.
Okay, so not when it's
no.
Okay, after the prayers.
Yes, okay. The tithe box is independent. It's not part of the 7 candles.
Correct.
It's not part of the candelabra. It's not.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good to me. Because I always wondered about that, because someone told me, oh no, it's because it's 8 candles and there can't be 8 candles in the altar.
No.
Okay.
It's independent of its own. Just like the Pajaspa, there's candle there. And you know, all those offerings also goes into the main altar, and that's it. So, but once it's been blessed, you know, the prayer, whatever, and then the light is put off and it's taken out. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Shepherd?
You mean regarding the candle? Well, it's just how important it is. You know, the book of John, that all what we're talking about is to remind us about the light that came to the world.
Yes.
From John chapter 1 from verse 5. I don't know if you can help me to read a little bit. Yes.
John 1. Verse 5. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it.
Yeah. And he said, I am the light of the world. So whenever we have candles, it's remembering us of Christ. And he said, that is why he said, listen, it's also reminding us that we have to spread the gospel. We have to keep the home fires burning. And that light, it is everybody's responsibility to make sure that our lights are never put out. So spread it. That is why we like the candles. You spread it. It's telling you about Christ's essence. And also, that's why he told us, you cannot light a candle and put it under the table. It doesn't make sense. So you need to come out, put it on top of the table, where the world will see your light. Because by their fruits, you will know them. It was on the sea, the light of the apostles in Antioch. That was why they called them Christians. So those are just the few things that I want to ask for now. I know questions will follow, other things will follow when people listen to this podcast, and then we take it from there.
Okay.
It's part of celestial culture, and I know many things people will still have other questions. So maybe it might take us to part 2.
Yes. Yeah. I think this could definitely turn into a part 2.
Yeah.
Especially if you think about like when people get messages about how many candles, all these things. Even though the main thing is that the candle represents the light of God in your life, the light of God in your heart.
Be a light.
Yes.
Get out of darkness.
Yes.
That is what it's telling you. Start to leave the old man. Be a new creature. Be prepared. Be wise. Don't be like the foolish virgins.
Yes.
That is what he's telling you. He said the virgins, when somebody is a virgin, no, that's a big thing. But okay, then if you are a Christian and you miss heaven,
Yes.
oh my God, that is a catastrophe. So that is why we need to be like the wise one. That every time we have to be watchful and prayerful. That is what the candle represents. Yeah.
I think we can table it here for now then.
Okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Shepherd.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the next episode.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.